Welcome to the online training session of St.Xavier Convent School, Barnala. Today we are going to discuss about Class 8 Science Chapter 1 Crop Production and Management. You all have heard about agriculture. Our state also focusing on agriculture. What do you mean by agriculture? It is a cultivation of animals, plants, fungi and other life forms for food, fiber and other products. Not only farming is agriculture. So there are different forms of agriculture. Sericulture, horticulture that we will discuss later. So agriculture means it's a cultivation of animals, plants, fungi and other life forms for food, fiber and other products. Here you can see in this picture different types of cultivation. This is actually agriculture. Next we are going to discuss about crop. Same kind of plants being cultivated on a large scale. That is actually agriculture. In this figure you can see crop of wheat. That means same plant, same wheat plant is cultivated at one place on a large scale. That is known as a crop. For example, paddy, wheat, etc. There are two types of crop. First one is kharif crop and the second one is rabi crop. First we are going to discuss about kharif crops. Depending upon the season in which they grow, we divide this crop into two. Kharif crops and rabi crops. Kharif crops means crops which are sown in rainy season. That is kharif crops. For example, rice, corn, sugarcane, soybean, groundnut and cotton. These crops are called as kharif crops. Kharif crops means what? Crops which are sown in rainy season. That is kharif crops. The next is rabi crops. Rabi crops means that grown in the winter season. As you all know, I think here in the winter season what we are cultivating? Wheat, pea, gram, barley, etc. So these are called as rabi crops. They are generally planted in the month of November and harvested in April. When we are planting this wheat in the month of November and we harvest it in the month of April. So we call these crops as rabi crops. Crop means what? Crop means same kind of plant being cultivated on a large scale. For example, paddy, wheat, this pea, gram. If you are cultivating on a large scale, we called it as crop. Depending upon the season in which they grow, we divide this crop into two. Kharif crop and rabi crops. Kharif means which are sown in the rainy season. For example, rice, corn, soybean, sugarcane, groundnut, cotton. The next is rabi crops. Rabi crops means crops grown in the winter season. They are generally planted in November and harvested in April. For example, wheat, pea, barley, gram, etc. Agriculture is not a simple procedure. It requires step-by-step procedure. So, the farmers are practicing some agriculture practices that we are going to discuss. First step is the preparation of soil. In that preparation of soil, first one is loosening the soil. Before growing a crop, the important task in the agriculture is to turn the soil and loosen it. Why we are loosening this soil actually? When this plant roots now need to penetrate into the soil, then only these roots can breathe easily. So this loosened soil helps in the growth of earthworm and microbes present in the soil. As you all know, only a few centimeters of the top layer of the soil supports this plant vegetation. So when we are turning or loosening the soil, what will happen? This nutrients present inside the soil will come to the upper layer. So it can easily absorb, this plant can easily absorb these nutrients from the soil. So first step is loosening of soil. This process of loosening of soil we call it as tilling or plowing. So first one I told you the preparation of soil, and in this preparation of soil we are doing loosening of soil. So this process we call it as tilling or plowing. As you all know, the field may have soil crumbs will be there. So in order to level the ground, we are using the technique leveling. This can be done by using a leveler. So before sowing the seed, we need to turn or loosen the soil. So we have these agriculture implements. First one is plow, and the second one is hoe, and the third one is cultivator. First we are going to discuss about how ploughing is done. Plow means nowadays you all know machineries are using for this purpose. In the ancient times you can see this type of plow. Here in this figure you can see a plow handle will be there, then plow shaft is there, and a plow share is there. In ancient days we can see this type of plow for tilling the soil, adding fertilizers to the soil and removing weeds. Weeds means unwanted plants that destroy our crop, that is known as weeds. So in order to remove weeds, this technique, this plow we used in earlier days. So it contains a strong triangular iron strip called a plowshare. Here you can see a strong triangular shaped iron strip that is known as plowshare. The main part of this plow is a long log of wood which is called a plow shaft. Here triangular shaped iron strip you can see that is known as plowshare, and the main part, this thing is known as plow shaft. You can see here a handle, and the other end of this is connected to a beam, and this beam we keep it in bull's neck. This is an old technique. Next is hoe. This is a simple technique used for removing weeds and for loosening the soil. In this figure you can see rod, beam, handle, grip and a bent plate. This will work like a blade. So this also in ancient days we used hoe. Next one we are going to discuss about cultivator. Nowadays we are using tractors. These are the main tools used for this purpose, for plow, hoe and cultivator. Next we are going to discuss about sowing. Sowing is an important part of crop production. Before sowing we need to check the quality of the seeds. How we check the quality of the seed? For example, take a beaker and fill with half of water and put a handful of any seed and stir it well. We can see if any damaged seed is there, means it will float on the water and other seed sink. From this we can separate damaged seed and good seed. Before sowing, one of the most important tasks is to know about the tools used for sowing seeds. Traditional tool and seed drill. First we are going to discuss about traditional tool. The tool used for traditionally for sowing seeds, we can see here the picture. It's shaped like a funnel. Here you can see the traditional tool with the shape of a funnel, and through this funnel seeds are filled. You can see here a funnel shaped structure. So we are filling these seeds through this funnel. So at the end of the pipe is sharp. So when we are putting seeds to this funnel, it passes down through this pipe, and this sharp end pierces into the soil and place the seed here. I hope you understand. This was the traditional tool used in ancient days. Next, seed drill. Nowadays we are using this seed drill. In this figure you can see seed drill. Nowadays we are using seed drill. You can see here seed drill. It is used for sowing with seed with the help of tractors. The main advantage of this seed drill is that we can place the seed at equal distance and depth, and it also ensures the seed got covered by the soil. This protects the seed from attack of the bird. Next we are going to discuss about another agriculture practice, adding manure and fertilizers. Manure means it's an organic substance obtained by the decomposition of plants or animal waste. First farmers dump this plant or animal waste in a pit and in any open places and allow them to decompose with the help of microorganisms. Then this decomposed substances used as organic manure. What do you mean by fertilizers? Fertilizers are chemicals which are rich in particular nutrient. What is the difference between manure and fertilizers? Fertilizers are actually chemicals produced in factories. Some examples of fertilizers are urea, ammonium sulfate, superphosphate, potash, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc. These are the fertilizers. So the major difference between manure and fertilizers are chemicals and produced in factories, and manures means they are organic substance decomposed by plants and animal waste. There is a major difference between fertilizer and manure. Here you can see differences between fertilizer and manure. First one, fertilizer is an inorganic salt. Manure is a natural substance obtained by the decomposition of cattle dung, human waste and plant residues. Next, fertilizer is prepared in factories. Manure can be prepared in fields. Next one, a fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil. Manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Actually, the overuse of fertilizers makes the soil less fertile, but the manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. Next, fertilizers are very rich in plant nutrients like nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. Manure is relatively less rich in plant nutrients. These are the major differences between fertilizer and manure. I hope you understand. Here it's a chemical and this is a natural substance, and this we can prepare in factories and this in the field. And fertilizer does not provide any humus to the soil, but the manure provides a lot of humus to the soil. These are the major differences between fertilizer and manure. Next we are going to discuss about another agriculture practice, irrigation. What do you mean by irrigation? The supply of water to the crops at a regular intervals is called irrigation. We have seen the sources of irrigation. For example, well, tube wells, ponds, lakes, rivers, dams and canals. These are the sources of irrigation. So when we are giving this water to the crops at regular interval, we call it as irrigation. Next we are going to discuss about the traditional methods of irrigation. Let's have a look about what are the names we used for that methods of irrigation. First one is mode or pulley system. Next is chain pump, and third one dekli, and fourth one rahat, lever system. Now I will show you the pictures of these methods, then you will understand better. First one is mode. Here you can see mode. This was the first method of irrigation used in earlier days. Next one is dekli. Here also you can see the picture, then you will understand easily. Next is chain pump. This chain pump is used for lifting water. Next one is rahat. This is also a traditional method of irrigation. These are the pictures of traditional method of irrigation we used in earlier days. Next we are going to discuss about modern methods of irrigation. This is very important. Modern methods of irrigation. First one is sprinkler system and the second one is drip system. I think you have seen this sprinkler system or drip system in your fields. First one is sprinkler system. I will show you the picture also, then you will easily understand. This is sprinkler system. Here you can see perpendicular pipelines used here. Perpendicular pipelines used here, having rotating nozzles on the top, and these are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. These are sprinkler system. Sprinkler system means perpendicular pipes having rotating nozzles on the top, and these are joined to the main pipeline at regular intervals. These are sprinkler system. Next we are going to discuss about the drip system. Drip system means what? Drip system means water we are giving near to the roots by drop by drop. That is drip system. Here you can see plants here, and we are giving water near to the roots drop by drop. That is drip system. Next agriculture practice is protection from weeds. What do you mean by weeds? Undesirable plants, that means unwanted plants along with this crop, that is known as weeds. For example, in a paddy field we can see other plants also other than this paddy. That plants we called it as weeds. So in order to remove these weeds, what are the techniques we used? First one is tilling before sowing. Second one, using weedicides. Third one, manual removal or uprooting or cutting weeds close to the ground, and this last one is seed drill. These are the methods used for removing weeds. Actually, the removal of weeds is called weeding. So, first technique is tilling before sowing. I already told you, first we need to till the ground. No? At that time we can remove all the weeds, and by using weedicides we can remove weeds. Next one is manual removal. Manual removal means what? Cutting, or we can pluck that weed from the soil. That is known as manual removal. And the last one is seed drill. These are the methods used for protecting our plants from weeds. In this figure you can see spraying weedicide. Actually, this weedicide is harmful for the farmers. So we need to take some precautions when we are spraying this weedicide. We need to cover our face during the spraying of these chemicals. Next we are going to discuss about harvesting. So what do you mean by harvesting? The cutting of crop after it is mature. That is called harvesting. Cutting of crop when it is mature. That is known as harvesting. In this figure you can see a machinery for harvesting this crop. In our place, harvesting is done either manually or by using machinery. In this figure you can see machinery cutting these crops, and these are stored inside this machinery. The grain seed we need to separate. No? For that purpose we already learned about that purpose, threshing, winnowing in lower classes. Next, this harvested grain we need to keep for longer time. No? So we need to keep this safely. So next we are going to discuss about storage. How we can store these harvested grains safely. In order to protect the harvested grain safely for long time, we need storage. No? So farmers use jute bags or metallic bins for small scale storage, and for large scale storage we need silos or granaries. In this figure you can see silos or granaries. That means large scale harvested grain we need to protect from moisture, insects, then from bacteria, fungi, etc. So first we need to keep these harvested grain under sun, and this help to protect from bacteria, fungi, etc. Next we are going to discuss about animal husbandry. Animal husbandry means it's a branch of agriculture where animals that are raised for meat, fiber, milk, eggs or other products. We already learned in 7th class about sericulture. No? We feed this silkworm for getting what? Fiber. So like that, animal husbandry means it's a branch of agriculture where animals that are raised, we are feeding these animals to get what? Either meat, fiber, milk or eggs or any other products. That is known as animal husbandry. I hope you understand all the topics. Thank you.